Aloha class, so we're starting a new chapter 12-1, net present value method. So we're considering purchasing a 40,000 machine that would reduce operating costs. So if they're going to be inflows or benefits to our company, they're either going to reduce costs or increase revenues. And so if we can reduce costs, that's a positive cash inflow. We don't have to pay for that, so that's a positive inflow. So 7,000 per year. And I believe this is for 8 years. At the end of the machine's 8-year useful life, it'll have 0 scrap value or 0 salvage value. So we use it, we can't resell it, it doesn't have another purpose, 0 salvage value. Company's required rate of return is 12%. So we come up with this required rate of return because we want to hit a certain threshold. Maybe our borrowing costs are 12% and we have to overcome those borrowing costs. Or we just need to make this amount to invest in a profitable project. So if NPV is 0, that means we hit 12%. If it's greater than 0, we have exceeded the 12% threshold or required rate of return. Determine NPV of the investment in the machine. What's the difference between the total undiscounted cash flows and cash flow outflows over the entire life of the machine? So for this chapter, we're using the time value of money, meaning that we're going to use PV tables, meaning that $1 today is worth more than $1 a year from now, and there's value because you could be investing that money at a specific rate instead of waiting for it if you get paid a year from now. So let's look at this. So 40,000 purchase of machine. And this says it was for 8 years. You should always, for this chapter, you should always label year 0, so that's like initial, inception of the project. That's year 0. We call that year 0, also used in finance. And then we have year 1, year 2, year 3, and then we'll drag that all the way until year 8, right? Because that's how long they said it was going to be good for. It's going to decrease our expenses, so that's an inflow because we have less expenses to pay. 0 salvage value. And was there any sort of other factors that we needed to consider? Sometimes we do have working capital that is expended in the first year and it's recovered, or they get it back, or it's released. We need working capital, but over here we don't. So when I look at this, we call this as an annuity. It's a constant stream of payments for a specific time period. So we have a $7,000 annuity for 8 years. So, we could do 8-year annuity, constant payment, and it's a positive. Oh, sorry. And then we have this initial outflow of negative 40,000. This should not be discounted back. That's present day. So the discount rate would be 1.00. Oh, sorry. The discount rate should be 1.00. No discounting. Negative, spending 40,000 today is worth $40,000 today because it's present day. So we don't necessarily need a discount factor. It's going to be 1, so you're not actually discounting that amount. We could times it. It'd be exactly the same. You're still going to have to pay 40,000. And then this is the annuity. So this is where you'll go to your PV tables. I could show you that in your textbook. It's at the very end of the chapter. But I have this up online and we'll use this. They're exactly the same thing. And so what was the discount rate that they said again? Let's go back to that discount rate. 12%. 12% required rate of return, so we're going to use 12% because that's what they, the minimum, borrowing amount, or the minimum amount they need in return, right? And so this project is going to go on for 8 years. So 12% was the required rate of return. 8 years would be 0.404. It would be the discount factor. So let's go back here, 0.404. Oh, no, that's incorrect, sorry. This is for $1, right? So this is one single payment, PV of $1. And I know that because it's less than 1. So what rate were we at? We were at 8. And a rate of 12% at 8.404, it's less than 1, and that doesn't indicate that that's going to be an annuity. So this is just one payment happening, and as we look at our stream of payments, a stream of payments would not use the present value because this is only one payment. We would need the annuity table, right? So the annuity table would be 12% for 8 years would be, and I know this is correct because it's over 1, right? So this annuity is going to be worth more than just less than 1, like a 0.404 would be too little because this is annuity. It's accumulating over time and it's constant payment, so our factor would be 4.968. So definitely catch yourself. I think I was just mindlessly going through the motions, and you do really have to pay attention, right? So 8 years, 4.968 would be the correct factor. And right, if I had like a outflow in year 3, that's when I would use the $1. Or if I had a salvage value, that's at year 8, that's where I would use the point at year 8, and I had a salvage value on that year, would be 0.404. So if it was just one payment, but we have a stream of payments, so that's why we use the annuity. Let's calculate that. And I wrote it to myself and I didn't pay attention to it. 8-year annuity. Make sure you're using the annuity table, right? And we can see this project isn't looking very good so far. So it's a negative 5,224 NPV. NPV is negative. We will reject the project, and it's not looking very good. So this is part A. And then part B is talking about undiscounted cash flows. So this is our discounted cash flow analysis. Right? We could just paste this. So this is discounted. It's discounted because we're using discount factors. We're taking account of the time value of money. Undiscounted. Discounted would be looking at these factors, cash flow factors. Oh, sorry. Cash flow factors. And then this one was for 8 years, right? So 8 years here, this was just a one-time thing. If we do not discount our cash flows, this project looks pretty good, right? We get 56,000 over 8 years, of course, not like right now. Over 8 years, we get 56,000. Cost us 40,000. It looks like it could be a profitable project, but it does not take into account the time value of money, and that's where the NPV is a critical decision process, because you could be investing at 12% for that money instead of tying it up with a fixed asset purchase. And so this would be part B, the undiscounted cash flows.